Hi, I'm Randy, and I'm here with Jim Farquhar. And Jim, it's kind of a funny question. I think it's a funny question to ask, but when is a heat pump a good idea in Ohio?
Well, that's a good question because a heat pump is basically an air conditioner that runs backwards.
Okay.
And to simplify that, in air conditioning through refrigerant and a refrigeration cycle, air conditioning, we absorb heat inside and dump it outside. Okay, we just move heat from a place we don't want it and dump it to a place we don't care. Well, in heating, we reverse that flow and we absorb heat outside through the Freon and dump it inside, which is good, especially if you're not at extremes. Let's say we were in North Carolina, where, the winter gets down to, I'm not real familiar with North Carolina, but let's say 25 degrees. But in the summer, they have a pretty good air conditioning load. They're up to 95 degrees or so. Your BTU needs for heating and cooling may be close to resembling each other. But in Ohio, we need about twice as much heat in BTUs than we do cooling. But we size the heat pump for the air conditioning. Okay, we size it for the air conditioning for many reasons, but we have to. But now in heating, we're only going to be able to heat the house down to say about 30, 35 degrees outdoor temperature. When it gets colder than that in Ohio, the heat pump by itself will not heat the house because the heating demand for the house is increased, yet the capacity of the heat pump diminishes. As it gets colder outside, there's less heat to absorb, so the heat pump's capacity starts to diminish. And that's when we need another form of heat, be it electric furnace, an oil furnace, gas furnace, propane furnace. We need another form of heat. So a heat pump in Ohio is suggested. The only reason they use a heat pump in Ohio, not so much for comfort, although it will maintain the house at 70 degrees to a certain point, but cost, okay? The heat pump is cheaper to run in some instances when it's, say, 40 degrees outside. The heat pump is cheaper to run than, say, your oil furnace or your propane furnace because some of those deliverable fuels are very expensive. Natural gas is still the best deal in town, but if you live out in the country, you don't have that available to you. A lot of them, they do not have natural gas lines run into their neighborhood. So if you have an all-electric application or an add-on fuel application, you're going to want air conditioning if it's forced air. To go with a heat pump's a good idea.
Well, appreciate hearing that, Jim. And, at Farquhar Heating, I mean, whatever kind of, problem you're running into in your business or your home, these guys know this stuff, heating, cooling, and they have the stuff. So any questions or anything, or if you'd just like to learn more, visit them at farquharheating.com. And if you'd like them to, come out and help with the project you have going on or solve a problem, call Jim, and I'm sure he'll be happy to take care of it.
Sure will, Randy. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.